The IEEE Cloud Computing Initiative, I believe, has come a long ways, but when you look back, it's only been a year and a half.
We're very excited about the continued development of cloud computing conferences.
And everyone here at the conference has been kind of buzzing about big data.
I'm very impressed with the ecumenical nature of this conference, and to mix together cloud computing and big data computing and service computing and mobile computing is absolutely a step in the right direction.
We don't know where it's going to take us, but we know it's a very exciting ride.
Well, one of the tracks that we spun up this year is the big data track in the Cloud Computing Initiative. And a key area that's related to big data in cloud is the existence or lack of existence of metadata standards for those big data sets.
When people talk about big data, you see this definition that it's based on properties of the data. And people being cute, they invented 5 V's to talk about that. So it's volume, velocity, variability, veracity, and value.
Well, this year I was surprised, the Services Computing Conference, SEC, has always been sort of the sister conference to ICWS, and this year I think maybe they had more submissions to that conference, and it's kind of, I was program chair in 2006, so to kind of see it, maturing and to see this entire venue, in a sense, it's beginning to look a lot like supercomputing, having such a variety of different fields. So exciting, it's impressive. I think LJ has done a phenomenal job. I'm glad he's sticking with it and doing what he does. So it's a good deal.
My keynote really focused on big data with a side glance to cloud computing and service computing. There's a lot of processing, a lot of work for you all to do to figure out just exactly how we can efficiently process big data. I like to say, that computer scientists only have 2 jobs to do. One is to create complexity, and then to hide it. A mention that mobile computing is the place where we're all going to access that stuff, but focusing on big data because one of the federal initiatives right now is a research initiative on big data, which was announced by the White House 18 months ago and is still in big swing.
That's what's been very interesting for me, is seeing actually it's quite different from a typical academic conference in parallel or distributed computing, that there's much more, like I say, business-oriented aspects to it, which has been, and that's also true, I think, in the research papers. It's a very broad set of papers, from security in clouds to pricing models to actually just resource management, different kinds of resource management, which is a more traditional academic topic.
In my talk, I talked both about big data and crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is when you use humans to perform certain tasks that are harder for the computer to do. Tasks such as analyzing images, translating text, finding things on the web, and so on. Big data, of course, is analysis of large volumes of information. There's a wealth of information that we're trying to learn and extract. And crowdsourcing, as I'll detail a little bit more, has to do with using humans to analyze or add information. So you might be thinking there's a contradiction, right? How can we be using humans, which are slow and error-prone, when you have huge volumes of information? How can that scale? How can we do that?
We've got a lot of work done in conferences. In particular, the initiative started out organizing 5 conferences representing each of the geographical areas, ranging from Asia Pacific to Latin America to Europe in the US.
On the one side is the service computing provided by the cloud. On the other side is the big data which come in order to fuel this service architecture in the cloud computing. So when these two things meet each other, we see a lot of exciting applications.
Big data itself, of course, under the support of the cloud, would have a lot of potential.